Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And take a look here. We are seeing the euro at 22.58. Now, we did get as high as 22.95. Bear with me. And you can see here, Bitcoin made a run up here to nearly 29,000. Pulling back a little bit. This on a 2-hour chart. But take a look here at the euro. You can see here we've got that key weekly level of 22.84. See that right there. Coming across at 22.84. We went just a hair bit above it, and we're back. We've slipped back below. We've had a pretty good little run, though. So we may try and see a pause around here. We've also seen equities push high back towards those highs. But if you look at this also, you'll see that Apple came off. We just went up just a hair bit higher. Yesterday we pulled back. We had a good open yesterday. We pushed up. Look how we paired back and look. And even though equities would come up, the indices, NQ, look, we just gapped up. We've only opened just a hair bit higher. Take a look at Microsoft, open kind of flattish. Amazon, look here, same thing here. Nothing, that we're seeing here. So even though we've moved higher in equities, and bear with me. You want to go and take a look at, you see here? So we've made this run up in here, and you can see where we're running out of gas right there. We're taking a dip back here. So we want to keep an eye on that. We'll take a look what we stay here with the cable. Nice little push up here in cable. Wow. So we're back above that pivot. We kind of got up to it. We went below it. Now we're back above that pivot of 34.97 currently. Let's go on and take a look at the news. So the Australian New Zealand dollar's on the rise as the dollar crumbles. The Australian New Zealand dollars rose on Wednesday as their U.S. counterpart remained locked in a downtrend, with investors wagering the wandering rollout of vaccines should bolster global growth and commodities next year. I was watching the news last night, and I was looking to a doctor, looking at an interview with a doctor, and she said that because right now they're trying to go with 1 million. Right now they only doing 1 million vaccines a week. Anyway, they said even if they bolster it, which Biden was looking for 1 million a day, she said we wouldn't even have the majority of everybody vaccinated until next year. So really, it's not as rosy as people think. I just saw that. I thought that was really a bit surprising. But anyway, says the Aussie firm to 76.31. Again, from a low of 75.59 low touch at the end of the week. It's also faring well against the Japanese yen, having reached its high since April 2019. The start of the COVID-19 immunization campaign in several countries, as well as additional other U.S. fiscal support, reduced downside risk to the global economy and bodes well for general financial market sentiment. Yeah, I've seen that story. It doesn't look as good as it. I mean, we're getting the vaccines, but the problem is that the Trump administration was so slow, and that actually Biden was pressing against him. This isn't anything political, but then he tweeted out later, well, they did all the work, so it was up to the states. So he's basically, in a sense, acknowledging that and just saying, hey, well, it was up to the states to do that. We got them the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. It's their problem if they didn't. So really, we're way behind on these vaccines. And it looks like if that's the case, and they're expecting January to really be a horrible month, things may not be so rosy as they seem. And I'm being serious here. Decline of the U.S. dollar is lifting prices for many commodities, pricing the currency, supporting earnings from the resource exports out of the Australian New Zealand dollar. Australian earnings from iron ore alone climbed to a record high of 139 billion Aussie dollars, and prices have risen further since then. Dollar trampled as riskier assets rally on U.S. stimulus hopes. The dollar slumped to multi-year lows against many currencies on Wednesday as currency traders look past a new delay in U.S. stimulus checks and maintained the bets that the additional financial aid was still likely. The greenback hit its weakest level in more than 2 years against the euro, Australian New Zealand dollars. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on Tuesday blocked immediate consideration of a measure to increase COVID relief payments to $2,000, adding another twist to fractious negotiations over the fiscal stimulus. Dollar also fallen and riskier assets have risen since Trump signed a coronavirus aid spending bill on Sunday because more stimulus for the world's largest economy reduces demand for that perceived safety of holding the greenback. While the size of the relief payments is still uncertain, many analysts say that the dollar is likely to weaken further next year because President-elect Joe Biden is expected to push for even more economic support measures. Look, this isn't going to go anywhere unless they actually are able to win the Senate. If not, it's not even going to happen. 1 week dollar call remains intact as we move to 2021. What happened to the greenback largely depends on how well the United States controls the virus in 2021, as well as the outlook for further fiscal stimulus. And like I said, from what I saw, it doesn't look good at all, for real. Last time, infighting had cast doubts on some of the details of the U.S. aid package, but analysts said the U.S. government will keep rolling out fiscal stimulus in some form because the second wave of coronavirus infections is becoming a big threat to the economy. Look, it looks really bad right now. Like I said, I saw that, and the problem is getting the vaccine out. It doesn't look very well right now at all. We'll take a look at the data that's coming out. Bear with me. So we did get nationwide housing prices out of UK, Spanish HICP flash, and then at 8:30 we get advanced good trades balance and wholesale inventories, and shy PMI at 9:45 Eastern, along with pending home sales at 10 a.m. Moment. Push this out of the way and get to the analysis. So the euro closed at 22.49, slightly above resistance level 22.41. Weekly resistance level of 22.84 looms and will reflect resistance for Wednesday. Support will be 21.95. Stand. Let's go move into cable. Now, got this jump above that pivot. That's a bit of a surprise here. Resistance right now is definitely going to come in right there, which would be 35.83. Because got to reflect that we're above that pivot. And support would be right there. Actually, if we break low, it's going to be right there. That would turn things around. That'd be support. It's just too low. So currently, that'd be 34.45. Turn around here in cable. That's a bit surprising. Let's go move into the Aussie. So the Aussie closed slightly higher on Tuesday, unable to scale past resistance level of 76.23. Let's get there. Dang, we're above it. Holy smokes. Support remains 75.20. So we've pushed beyond that. Let's take a look at the weekly level. Right there, you see that? That will be $76.74. Holy smokes. Wow. That's it, 76.74. And support now would be right there. 75.74. Let's go move into the Kiwi. Look at the Kiwi bolting away. And here's that resistance right there on a weekly. 71.91. Dang. With support right there. 71 even. Actually, it's right there. 70.97. Taking a look at the CAD. I'm not a fan of the dollar, but I think we're getting a little bit overdone here now. Dollar CAD testing the lower side on Tuesday before recovering to close above 28. Support on Wednesday will be 27.65 with resistance at 28.83. Onto the dollar peso. And this is weakening here. Now we're at 1984. The dollar peso closed slightly lower on Tuesday in a directionless day. Support remains 1982 with resistance at 2014. So we'll stick with that, 1982, 2014. We can probably lower that part. Right there, 2003. Onto the dollar yen. Dollar yen closed marginally lower, unable to take out resistance 390. Support on Wednesday will be 327, that's where we're at, with resistance at 383. 327. Onto the dollar index. Dollar index closed sub 89 on Tuesday, opening a challenge lower. Resistance for Wednesday will be 90.45 with support at 89.63. And onto the Kiwi yen. This thing's still pushing higher. See where we stand on a weekly. Next weekly is 74.68. You see right there? That would be 74.68. I don't know if it would go that high, but that's where resistance would be. I just think we're really a bit stretched here. Here's one level right there. That's still not a good level because you had these two bars here. We'll just have to go with that level. I think it's overdone though. 74.68 is a weekly level. Onto the daily. Go 73.65. We've seen a dip back here. We kind of meandered right here in this area here. We're pulling back. Support's going to be right there, which is 90.21 on the euro pound. With resistance, we did have 90.82 yesterday, and they kind of ran out of gas there. Actually, it's not bad. The high was 90.92, and we had 90.82. Resistance, we'll keep that 90.82, and then on to the euro odd. Still breaking, pushing a little bit lower here. I don't know if they'll push that lower, but that would be support 6005. With resistance 6106. Actually 6108. Onto the euro Kiwi. Kiwi continues to strengthen, but we've got some support in here, which is 70.58. With resistance at 71.50. And Aussie yen. I think this Aussie yen has just gotten, this Aussie thing has just gotten a bit too stretched here. 78.94. We had 97. We'll keep that. And keep the support at 78.11. Onto the guppy. There's your resistance, 40.34. We had that. That's going to remain the same. And support, $39.53. And lastly, starting odd. See a nice turnaround here. And resistance right there, 77.50. Turned on a dime too. And support right now is going to be right there, 76.99. Take a look where we stand here in equities. You can see here we did come off lower here on Apple to start the weekend. We're just gently higher. Same thing here with Microsoft, just a little bit higher, even though NQ is pushing up here. Amazon, same thing here. Take a look at Google. Let's go and take a look at it on a 2-hour. Just pretty much where it closed, you see? So NVIDIA, same thing here, weaker. Facebook, we came off those lows, but same thing here. We made that run to 280, we're at 276. And if we take a look here, PayPal just a little bit of a move higher. We did come back, look, yesterday from 245, dropped all the way to 230, and we're just only a couple of bucks higher, 233.71. Same thing with Peloton, you see here. Take a look at Tesla and Netflix. At 676, 677 is the key. We're just holding here at 664. And then finally Netflix. We're a little bit off those highs, but still holding close. So okay there with Netflix. We'll have to see how we go, but like I said, we're a bit stretched here. I don't know how to pull up that Ethereum. I guess is I can look at Bitcoin. Wasn't even really looking at Bitcoin. It was just because it made new highs. I was looking at it from a risk standpoint. So that's also. Hang on, let me try and pull that out. And it's just higher. That's all I know, to be quite honest with you. You see here, look how high it is. Look at it on the daily. See, so we'd have to get back below 27 just to even get it a little bit concerning here. And that would give it like a, almost like a gravestone doji here. If we were dripped on it, doesn't look like it. We are a bit stretched here. And that's an island here. So you're concerned, but you can't look ahead. You have to look at what we have. But this is on a daily. So if the week we were to open next week down here, then this would be an island by itself. And that would really be a big worry. If we close like down here and then also went lower, then you'd really get a good pullback. But that's it right there. It does look pretty good, though, so far. I mean, but, we did gap up. So, but this is a bit stretched here. And get this move. There's when it first opened up. So it's already beyond the 127% extension. So I'm not sure how much further it'll go. I only looked at it because I was like, oh, wow, well, Pedro was one that pointed out in the chat room, and I was looking at it as a risk on, and like, wow, but we'll see. Here it is on a weekly, still looking firm. Here on a daily, concern would be is if we do pull back, and we are an island right now. Now, whether they extend that's a whole different ball game. Although I will say that I think that I did mention this in the chat room. To me, it looks like if you look at the last 9 months, equities look long in the tooth. Bitcoin, it's moved, but I think people are still parking money there. So we could maybe see a dip, but I think that Bitcoin will still have continued life, where I think equities may be a bit suspect here. And then with the moves that we've seen in Bitcoin, I think people are going to be more apt to want to put more money in Bitcoin as opposed to equities now and shift that. So even if we were to see a pullback, I think that it would be short-lived in Bitcoin and people would still feel comfortable putting money there and pulling back against equities. So that's where we stand. But anyway, I'll get the bias chart posted, and thanks for joining us in the European crossover webinar.